a team that plays extremely hard, cause a lot of problems defensively with their activity. The way they're able to fly around and scramble is really impressive. They have a great feel for one another at that end. And then offensively, they have a lot of guys who can make plays. So it's a great challenge for us. There'll be an athletic group that, we'll have to contain.
What's the plan in terms of how you'll allocate minutes between the front end and the back?
Well, I don't know that we have the luxury to allocate yet. Tomorrow may be more of the question, but today we'll see. If there's a way to protect, we'll protect, but there may not be. So we'll hope for the best.
Hey, Coach. In terms of Scotty Barnes, what you've seen from him so far, can I just get your impressions of the competitiveness he brings to the court, and if that's at all rare for rookies in your experience?
No, I think you see rookies that are competitive, but he definitely has a lot of confidence and belief in what he does. He can impact the game in a lot of ways. Offensively, I think there's a player that has a high ceiling, but is still going to continue to develop. And defensively, he's very versatile. He can guard multiple positions, multiple skill sets, and I think different actions. He's very effective. And so, very impressive rookie. And to be this effective early is a huge part of why I think he's so impressive.
Coach, I know James isn't all the way back prime James yet, but how would you kind of describe what we've seen from him over the last 4 games compared to where he was at, and then what that next kind of leap you're expecting or you think will come next for him?
Yeah, I think, obviously it wasn't his best outing last game, but I thought prior to that he was moving in the right direction. You saw a little burst coming back. He was able to get in the paint more often. He's making some shots at a good clip right now. That's the biggest thing, is just the combination of getting his legs back under him and that confidence and rhythm, to where he is instinctive rather than thinking about it. And I think right now we're still getting glimpses of a player who's still thinking a little bit out there rather than just going. So that's a natural process for someone who's played very little basketball in the kind of 6 months leading up to training camp.
Coach, being a Canadian head coach in the NBA and actually coaching on Canadian soil, pretty rare. Is that something you've thought about in the last couple hours, maybe?
Yeah, it's a great day for me to be able to come, and be back home and to be on the sidelines in this building against this franchise, and with all kind of friends and family and people throughout the country watching. That's something that I've watched from afar since I retired, and been really excited by the steps the Raptors have taken, obviously culminating in the championship. And so to come back up here is something I've missed, and it'll be a thrill for me to be out there today in a new role.
You've been in the league for so long. I guess you're accustomed to things being unpredictable. But when you took this job, looking at the roster you had, are you a little surprised at how unpredictable it's been? Last year was sort of a high with the pandemic kind of roller coaster this year. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on. So has that challenged you in any way, or is it sort of just kind of been, this is the NBA,
Yeah, no, I think it's been a big challenge. I don't think we could have predicted how much stuff would be thrown at us, particularly last year. But that's part of it. You have to be adaptable. And so, it didn't take long for me to understand that was our challenge, was to try to stay productive, efficient, and effective with, whatever we had. Like we keep saying, we had whatever 38 starting lineups last year, 27 players on the roster or something like that. And so this year, obviously, we've had some issues as well, but that's the job. That's the job is largely a puzzle and trying to figure out solutions rather than dwelling on all these pieces sitting in front of you. So I try to enjoy that part of it and figure out ways to help this group move forward, regardless of what's going on off the court, on the court, and different player availability struggles. So would never have predicted it. Like, we know things happen, but I thought that's been a pretty insane amount of things in the last year. But like I said, try to enjoy the puzzle, and working with my staff has been great, and everyone in our front office and all our departments have really enjoyed it.
Anyone else in the room, or we'll go to Zoom? Okay, Alex on Zoom. Go ahead.
Hey, Steve. I think Nick Nurse was coaching the Manchester Giants when you first met him. We good now? Can you hear me?
Got a smoke machine too, it sounds like.
Aaron, can you hear me?
Hold on now.
Yeah, come on. Don't date me enough for that, bud.
You try again?
Great.
All right. Yeah, just Steve. I think Nick was first met him. You've known 20 years. Just how's he evolved as a coach in the time of your relationship with him?
Sorry, who did he? Nick. Yeah, I mean, I first met Nick in I think Manchester, England, like late '90s. So that's a story in itself, and one that has been documented, but is incredibly impressive for someone to take the route he took to winning an NBA championship, let alone being an NBA coach. So it's phenomenal to see some of the things he's able to employ as a coach. He's willing to think outside the box and try different things and find a way to get his players to execute. And I really admire the way he coaches his teams.
Did you call me, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. Question, and I think Grady may have asked this, but I couldn't hear him. With this a back-to-back, do you, barring anything unforeseen like triple overtime, do you expect both Katie and Blake to be available on both ends of this?
We'll see. We haven't made any decisions. We'll see how today goes. So we're really just going to focus on this one, and then we'll have a chat about it after the game and see what we do tomorrow.
Christian, go ahead.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
Good. James is someone who ranks first, third, and fifth on the NBA's all-time single-season turnover leaderboards in terms of just how many turnovers he has in a season. And he's on pace to rank up there again this season if he continues turning the ball over the way he's been. Is that just part of the way he plays in terms of just a lot of the offense is going through him? And then B, just how do you kind of, hold him accountable for the unforced errors, like when he, in the last game where he just didn't get back up the court and then guy grabs the ball, gets the bucket. How do you kind of hold him accountable for those turnovers while also knowing that just the way he plays, he's going to turn the ball over a lot as well?
Yeah, I think the turnovers in the past are a product of him having a high usage rate. He did everything, for more or less in Houston. And so you're going to turn the ball over when you're scoring 30 and 10 assists every night. It's just going to happen because you're in almost every action. So, some of that's understandable and a small price to pay for his brilliance. I think right now we have a player that's trying to find himself. Like I said, he hasn't played much basketball, so you have to give him time to find it. And we'll try to show him stuff on film and try to help him and guide him as he finds himself here. But I'm not, necessarily going to jump the gun and start trying to control James Harden. I think that's this is a player we need to find his best level again this year if we're going to be a really good team or be at our best. And so that's part of this process. And so you have to help him, guide him, show him things that maybe are hard for him to see on the fly. And at the same time, give him the space to make mistakes and to find that level of aggressiveness he needs to be great.
SDE Television in Korea.
Hi, Coach. Nice to meet you. Each team play about 9 or 10 games now, and it seems like, exception of Utah and Golden State, many teams try less three-pointer. And then players like DeRozan, KD, and Butler has more spotlight, who's known for their mid-range shooting. Do you think this is like new trend, or is just short stint due to new official ball and new rules?
Yeah, I think that is a really difficult question to answer. I think I would just be giving you a shot in the dark, but I guess my instincts say that it's, I think, an adjustment to the new rules as much as anything. People aren't going to the line as much. I think that penetration has been much more physically guarded, and that's probably a factor in people getting inside and spraying it out for threes. But who knows? I don't think that the mid-range is like going to make any sort of dominant comeback. That appears to be not happening. But there are definitely certain players that live in that space, and so you'll see certain players, especially in a small sample size, while we're adjusting to the rules. That maybe it looks more profound, but I don't think that that's anything that we'll see by the end of the season.
If I may, I have one quick trivia question. In Korea, you're known for a great basketball player, but you're also known for the most famous Tottenham Hotspur fan. Who do you think a more productive duo, you and Studmeyer in your prime, or Sonny and Harry Kane right now?
They weren't that productive today, unfortunately, but they have brought a lot of joy to my life. So I definitely, I'm always supporting those guys, and it's a thrill to have both of them at Spurs, and hopefully, they have a new manager now, so they can get on fire again.
Last question, Brian Lewis.
Circling back to the mid-range, I'm curious. Looking at your guys' results when LaMarcus scores well, I'm curious, do you see a direct causality there? In other words, is there a function where he's just the beneficiary when your offense is flowing the way it should and he gets looks in the mid-range? Or when he provides a reliable third option, is that a direct impact on winning?
Yeah, I think when he scores, it makes us a better team because our second unit is functional and efficient. What comes first, the flow of the second unit or him making shots? I think on different days, it could be different things. When that second unit is moving the ball and creating space and opportunity for one another, that's obviously the best of both worlds because we really just want to see shot creation. Are we creating good looks? Are we getting good opportunities? And then if he converts them, then that makes the second unit all that much better. But maybe there's nights where we don't play particularly well, but he's able to put a few in the bucket, even contested, that carries that second unit. So, I think there's two dynamics going on there. Sometimes maybe it's just LaMarcus, sometimes maybe it's the flow of the second unit, but it's really big for our team when he plays well and makes shots so that second line can score.